Hello there, you gorgeous lot. My name's Charlotte White. Today I'm going to give you a little lesson in the art of covering up. Cakes come out of the oven not looking completely perfect, but what I'm going to show you is how to create a really perfect, lovely straight finish on your cakes. What I have here is an 8-inch Victoria sponge cake, and I'm going to remove the top dome using a very sharp knife. The easiest way to do this is to lay your knife at the top of your cake where the dome starts to happen, rotate the cake, not the knife, and that way you'll ensure a really lovely straight top. Each time I rotate, I'm pushing the knife a little bit further into the middle, and then when I'm all the way, I can remove that top layer. And I'm going to fill this Victoria sponge with some raspberry jam and some buttercream, just for an extra treat. So when you're working with jam, go sparingly. And what you're aiming for is a layer of jam that you can just slightly see through. And the second half of our cake, we're going to layer with buttercream. And in the same way as with the jam, you don't want to put too much buttercream in the middle. Now you could stop at this stage, put some icing sugar on the top and you'd be good to go. But this is burlesque baking. We need something a little bit glamorous on our table. To cover the cake in fondant icing, we first need to give the cake a layer of buttercream to act as an adhesive for the fondant icing to stick to. Kneading the icing down on the table. We're only kneading it to put warmth into it, and I'm kneading round in a ball. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm keeping a lovely smooth edge on the top, and all of the creases are going to be at the back. Now if you want to add colour to your sugar paste, what you need are very concentrated colours. Now this is one that I really like called spruce green. So using a cocktail stick, you just take a little dab of the colour and you can then just poke that into your icing, and that should be sufficient to change it from white to a lovely shade of green. So kneading the colour through, you'll find that it starts to develop. I've got a non-stick rolling pin and 2 marzipan spacers. Now what these do is they ensure that you get a really even thickness. I'm going to lay down some corn flour. You could use icing sugar. Roll in a nice smooth movement, forwards and backwards, and then rotate your icing by a quarter turn. The reason we do that is to ensure that we get a really nice even roll on our icing, and also just to check that it's not getting stuck to the workbench. And we're just shy of 16 inches all the way round, which will be perfectly adequate to cover this cake. I put my hands underneath the icing and lift it up there, and then drop it on top of the cake. So once the icing is on top of the cake, your first job is to secure the top edges using the flat part of your hand here. Always smooth upwards, never drag down. And if you notice any folds starting to happen, like this one here, just open the icing up and smooth back in. Run your pizza wheel around the bottom of your cake to remove the excess. Okay, this is a straight edge smoother, and you press it very lightly against the side of your cake, okay, with the flat edge at the bottom, and just work it around the cake, pressing very gently. We're going to need some beautiful flowers to encrust it with. What I have here is some more fondant icing, and I've mixed it with a colour called grape, which is quite a nice pink, and I've also got a second colour here in violet and some white to make a selection of lovely flowers. Now I've got a couple of cutters and moulds here from a company called Blossom Sugar Art. So you take your cutter and cut out your shapes, then dust a little corn flour inside your mould, lay your shape inside and press gently to put all the detail on. There we go. Now white hologram glitter is just my favourite thing in the whole world. Take a pinch of this and sprinkle it over your flowers. You take one of your flowers, a little bit of royal icing on the back. Start with your first flower at the bottom of your cake. If you want to create something like this and you want to put a little bit more detail in, please check out the Strawberry Siren cake, which is on the front cover of Burlesque Baking. And in that I'll be able to give you a little bit more detail about how to really bring these flowers to life and create something really, really sexy.